Okay, Reggie, I saw that in a recent interview that Suge did, he made an accusation where he stated that you used his retainer for a lawyer that he had to defend yourself in a lawsuit, saying that you weren't able to pay your bodyguard employees at the time, and that this was ultimately what led to him getting his judgment and losing Death Row Records. I just wanted to see if you had any comments or if you had anything you wanted to say in regards to what he claimed.
Yeah. Well, after seeing this picture and floating around, going hard on Suge, I'm just educating the people that's around him. That's he's on the phone talking to and preaching all this too, because I was a part of the conversations, and so I know how he gets on a rampage and he start being so insistent or making you really believe like what he's talking about is factual and true. So for the people that really care, because most people really don't care, but for the people that really care, that's all I hear on Bomb First do, is I like to bring the facts. And so you can just digest it the way you want. Because quite frankly, all of this shit is old, 30 years old. And it's not going to change any of our lives one way or the other. Really not. I know y'all think a lot of this is going to change our lives, or this going to happen, or your time coming and all of this. It's not going to happen, y'all. But I'll just show y'all evidence, because that's what I'm here for. I bring receipts. I just don't talk off the top of my ass on things and say half truths and stuff. I bring receipts. And then the ones that want to read and research stuff, y'all can go and research it. Those of y'all that want to comment in the comment section, thank you. I probably made 5 cents off of it. So here's the facts. Here's the paperwork, the proof. What happened was there were 2 employees that worked for Right Way Protective Services. And they sued Death Row because they were working, doing bodyguard work for Miss Chalet. And Suge and Miss Chalet used to just always terrorize these 2, making them sit at the bottom of the hill all day. She'd never come home and all of that. Or when they went out of town, I think, she wouldn't let them go eat or nothing because they always had to be there to watch them. They made all type of crazy claims, which I was paying them $35 a day per diem, and I was paying them $300 a day for working with these guys, or whoever they worked with, whether they worked 1 hour or if they worked 12 hours. I would never let them work over 12 hours. But when they traveled, they had to stay there the whole day, but we paid for their rooms. They were in cars, usually a limo or something like that, that Death Row was paying for, or Right Way. So, as y'all see in the lawsuit, they sued Suge, Marion Knight, Death Row, and myself. Look at the lawsuit. Look at the paperwork. Reggie Wright was pro per, and White Ray was pro per. That law firm that he's talking about, Robert Shapiro law firm, he don't even know because he never been up there. I was the one dealing with him. I had to send the lawsuit over to them because at that time we had got rid of Kenner. Once Suge found out his appeal was going to get denied, I went and developed a relationship with Robert Shapiro office because I needed them to represent the appeal on the corrupt case. Robert Shapiro got the judgment knocked down from $10 million to $4 million. Robert Shapiro also handled about 4 or 5 other cases. Roger Troutman was suing us for that song, not Roger Troutman, Zap or whoever, because he had sold the publishing. The Laylaw lawsuit on California Love, they handled all of those cases. We did give them about a $200,000 retainer, but all of that was handled in no matters. Suge Knight always want to blame, and I swear, I remember this his evaluation that the people did when they was determined whether he gonna go to the pen or not. The shrink came back and said, this guy doesn't accept responsibility for anything negative that happens in his life. Anything positive, it's all him. He brags about. But anything negative, it's always his fault or somebody else's fault, never his. So my whole point is, 2001 is when this lawsuit came and they started dealing with it. So he's trying to say he lost his company in 2005 because a $200,000 retainer or $250,000 retainer was spent up. Well, they handled about 4 years of work for your company. You and Robert Shapiro fell out. I was gone. I believe in like 2003. Y'all fell out. And that's when you get the Lydia Harris lawsuit that you get a default judgment on in March of 2005. You talked about it on that interview you just did on somebody's podcast, where you go and say, because your attorney didn't show up, talking about Sherry. You said your female attorney didn't show up.
You got to look at my situation.
Well, they did, Suge. They have.
I know, but I'm going to tell you, this is how it starts. I haven't did that one thing to have Universal or Interscope or anyone else get my masters. I didn't do anything illegal or anything wrong, even when the Harrises lied and said they had something to do with my company. That was proven they didn't. They got nothing. They gave Lydia Harris because my lawyer, who represents all the same people, didn't show up to court one day. Now look at the bigger picture of all the whole situation.
You wasn't talking about Bobby and them because you know they have dropped your ass in 2003. But that don't sound good. It sounds good to go on Arch Channel and say because of Reggie. But so from 2001, 2002, when Reggie had the company and was able to come up with all these different advances and stuff needed, why you couldn't come up with it in 2005? You don't think dealing with that appeal situation with the corrupt matter, you don't think that costs $200,000? And that Roger Troutman lawsuit and all the other lawsuits that came on during that time? Okay, sure. Everything is everybody's fault, everybody else's fault. So you want people to believe you lost the company because you didn't have $100,000, $50,000 to come up with to fight. No, you lost the company because you was trying to play attorney and you refused to pay anybody other than a crackhead attorney, Sherry Bingham and Lamont Givens. And Lamont fucked you because he was playing both sides with Lydia, and Sherry was just a crackpot. That was fucking Timmy Rue, the one that got caught fucking your celly in the visitor room. That's who you was electing to be your attorneys. So you take the blame. But stop trying to blame stuff that happened in 2001, 2002, lying. You got sued as well as Right Way because of stuff you and Miss Chalet were doing to those security guards. Not because Reggie couldn't afford to pay down their field. No, it was a wrongful termination. It's not for failure to pay, is what the lawsuit was for, sure. You just set up and create and make up lies, though. But hey, y'all believe what y'all want to believe. Y'all deal with what y'all want to believe. Y'all keep listening to this man and his lies. He's just out here lying on everybody. Why? I don't get it. He's just on a campaign. And two people that I believe had the most to do with the death of Tupac Shakur, that's still alive, Diddy and Keefy D. Have y'all noticed he's the one that's hollering, free them? Peace, my first.